All right, welcome back to another episode of the Noob Sports Show. I'm your host, Ryan Newpel, with you each and every time. Thanks for joining us during this crazy time. It's the holidays. Things are getting probably nutty in all of your schedules, so I definitely appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your time and just hearing what we have to say here. Hey, we have a second-time returning guest to the show with us today, Dan Healy, co-founder, CEO of PickUp. Dan, thanks for joining me again.
Yeah, Ryan, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to hearing what is going on in your world. For those of you that don't know or didn't listen maybe previously, Dan was on episode 74 of this show as well. So you can kind of get the background. We won't go into all of his background again and talk through that, but you can go back, listen to that, and hear kind of where Dan came from and how he got to where he is today. But today we really want to just dive into what's new and kind of in this betting world, plus in the pickup world. So we'll just see where this conversation goes, Dan. But I appreciate you joining me. You've been staying healthy through this pandemic.
Yeah, we've been trying. We've done our best, right? The team is all work from home. So even on a snowy day in the Northeast like that, we're no days off. You got no excuse. So we've all been all right. Thank goodness.
Great.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So what is new in your world? What since we last talked, what's new in Pickup's world? Everything going well? Have you seen an uptick or a downtick, or is everything the same for you guys? Give me a little update.
Yeah, it's cool to come back on because the last time we spoke it was February, right? And we didn't know what was to come in the months ahead, clearly. And just as a little background, so PickUp is a platform. It allows content creators to embed contextually relevant questions directly into their blog posts, their articles, and through social and now audio and all of that. And so last we had spoken, we were in beta phase and we hadn't released it out to the world. Fortunately, we did take an investment from some amazing people in the space, KB Partners out of Chicago, as well as Drive by DraftKings, that group, and we launched in July. We launched publicly kind of right as sports were coming back. We launched with some really exciting partners. So USA Today, MMA Junkie, Sixers Wire, Celtics Wire, Lax All Stars, and the guys over at NFL Analysis. And so for us, it's been, in this world, it's learning and growth. And when you're in a new industry, you're kind of navigating the unknown. And so for us, it's been about bringing in some people from the space to kind of help the expertise, as we talked about last time.
Yep.
My background's in product and in early stage companies and not necessarily in space, and then onboarding and growth. So it's been great.
That's great to hear. It's because it's interesting because a lot of people think or they associate, the pandemic and the shutdown in sports and kind of all of that. They associate that with business going poorly or business maybe stalling. And I think sometimes, especially for us in the digital world, right, who are doing digital business, it may be the opposite, right? A lot of people are now looking to go digital or looking to how they can grow their footprint in the online space. And I think from what I'm hearing you say and what I know about my business is it's kind of the exact opposite. There's a lot going on right now, and sports are now back in some capacity, even though there's not fans and even though all that doesn't really affect the digital side of things. There's still even more craving now for the digital side. So speak a little bit to that growth and what you've seen.
Yeah, I think that's right. I feel for all of the companies that have struggled through this, and I hope that there's light on the other side. What we've seen is we've really had to less than pivot. We've really had to focus. So one trend that we quickly saw during the early months of the pandemic was there were a lot of layoffs and a lot of furloughs in sports media. There were a lot of really talented people, journalists, beat writers, et cetera, that were let go. Our platform and the way we had built it was really aimed at these independent content creators, at these men and women who were creating their own content and looking for a way to monetize that hobby. And so, for instance, we brought on our content team actually came over from The Athletic. They were part of the layoffs that happened over there, and they've got a background at Bleacher Report, and so they know this world very, very well. And so what we saw was there's actually a new market being created. There's an opportunity for these people that used to write for large sports media companies to now write for themselves. A comparison would be in 08, 09, there was a financial crisis. There was a lot of layoffs and a lot of people kind of out of the job back then. Those folks started to go over to places like Etsy or go over to places like Shopify and sell their own goods. Well, we want to do that same thing for these independent content creators. Give them an outlet, give them a place to tap into the revenue that's coming through the world of sports betting on the brand side, and kind of across the board. And so when we think about, how we have reacted to the pandemic and the impact that it's had on business, we've instead shifted into how do we build digital tools for this new market that's being created. And that's led to some pretty interesting success.
I love that. That's very cool. And you're 100% right that there's so many opportunities out there, for these people, even though they may not see it right away. Right. But that's what we're here to do, is educate them on these opportunities. So that's amazing. So you spoke of, PickUp being partnered now with a whole bunch of great sites. I mean, you listed off 5, 6, 7 of them there. I didn't catch them all. But I'm wondering what the growth of that is. I mean, are you looking to partner with as many sites as possible, or are you really kind of got with the core of them now? What's your growth plan around like new sites? Are you looking to partner with new sites or media outlets every day?
Yeah, so that's what we've done. We've got, we were a little cautious when we launched. We wanted to make sure the system worked, and it has, and it's worked incredibly well. And so everything that we've done now on the technology side has been an investment so that we can work with 100 publishers, 1,000 publishers, 10,000 publishers. We've grown from the 5 that I initially listed to 30 now. We've got a backlog of about 50, and we'll just continue to grow. The goal is that PickUp just becomes a part of your behavior, right? I mean, we've got some things that we're releasing in the new year that make it worthwhile, that make it make sense, that get you more eyeballs, that get you more attention, and ideally make your content more interactive and monetizable.
So, just give us that 1,000-foot view again real quick, because I'm sitting here backtracking in my mind, and I know the people listening are probably like, oh crap, I need to go back and listen to episode 74 so I understand more about what it is. But just give us that view of like what these publishers are doing with PickUp. I mean, you are embedding content that is enhancing that content for them. Now, are they monetizing this through you guys? Just give us a little bit, of that 1,000-foot view again real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So PickUp is at its core a platform, and it is a database of questions all about the most relevant sports topics. We have social listening tools that tap into the world of Twitter, that tap into the subreddits of the world, and blogs and all of that. And we quantify those opinions. We quantify those questions. So if you think about, do the Eagles win, this weekend, or even more specifically, does Jalen Hurts throw 2 touchdowns? Like those sort of things are what people in the Philly world are talking about, right? And when our publishing partners, and again, it's actually a revenue share. We do not charge them. It's a revenue share opportunity.
That's what I was going to ask. Okay.
Yeah. So they tap into our network, and our network generates revenue through a number of different areas. A lot of it is sponsorship centric. Some of it is through like affiliate commerce, that sort of stuff, right? And we pass this revenue along to them. But more importantly than the revenue, the direct revenue at this point is really creating a community around your content. So if you're reading an article on Full Scale Philly, for instance, and Full Scale Philly is one of our publishing partners. It's run by a guy, Brian Cass, super talented, covers all things Philly sports. And he's writing about the Eagles game this weekend. There's likely a question in there that is what the Eagles fandom is talking about. And you answer that question. And when you answer that question as a fan, you then put in your phone number. You're associated with a leaderboard. You can win prizes. You can win all sorts of stuff, right? But more importantly, you share it. You share it with your community. Because if you follow the Eagles to that extent, your buddies probably do as well. And so we're generating more eyeballs. We're creating engagement opportunities, and then we're creating competition around the content that people are already engaging with.
Very cool. So when the when the end user answers the question, puts in their phone number. Now, is that data that the publisher has access to as well, or is that just something that goes to you guys? How does that data collection work?
Yeah, so the reason they put their phone number in is to compete on, to compete and to have access to that receipt, you could call it. And that is all driven through the PickUp platform.
Got
However,
it.
what we do, right, and I think this, like, I'll give an example for Noob Sports, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to put questions into your articles or into your podcast recaps, and somebody, made a pick, put their phone number in, we then give you the opportunity to send them an offer, right? Some sort of like, here, subscribe to my newsletter. Here, sign up, for my podcast, whatever it might be. And that way you can give them something relevant. You can get them to sign up, but we would never, we would never share or sell their data.
It's a win-win. I mean, that sounds like a great thing, and I'm glad you brought up Noob Sports, because I'm gonna be knocking on your door after this call to make sure we get some things implemented here. So now that you guys are live and rolling, so that's amazing. Cool, man. Well, that's awesome. So what's the future look like besides growth and all of this? I mean, are you guys still developing the application and developing your functionality within PickUp, or what's the 2021 outlook? And what's on the horizon for you guys that you can talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not going to stop, right? We're going to continue to make sure that the features that we are that we currently have are getting better, but also we're going to release some exciting stuff. So one thing that we're going to do, as I mentioned, we do have a really, really great content team. We invested heavily in bringing them in, and they're wildly smart. It's a guy, Dave Scipione. It's Jeff Carrillo. Those two met over at Bleacher Report, and then Brian Janice, who worked with them at The Athletic. And so one thing we're going to do is we're going to start a syndication site, and we're going to have this home base where all of the most relevant articles in major sports are going to be highlighted there. And on top of it, there's going to be this element of gamification. And so if you're embedding our props and you cover the St. Louis Blues or St. Louis sports or whatever it might be, then we're going to see that. We're going to see that people are making picks, and you'll automatically just be shown on top of the hub. So that's going to be something pretty cool. We're excited about. And then the other major investment we've just made is really focused on distribution. So I have this belief that you don't need to build something on an independent platform anymore, meaning you don't just build an iOS app, you don't just build an Android app. When people ask us what platform our application is on, I say SMS. So our push is actually to make the picks much more shareable and much more engaging, so that you're constantly sharing, honestly, news, articles, content, etc., within your group, instead of just saying something like, Kyrie's going to go for 30 tonight, or Katie's going to make a triple double. And I always refer to the Nets because they're my team. But if you're doing that, then we want to give you the tools as a fan to quantify that, right? To make it competitive within your own group.
So I'll ask you a question then. So here's a pickup question for you. Will KD and Kyrie play a full season for the Nets this year, all the way through the playoffs?
I'm a big believer in putting positive things out to the universe. So I'm going to go with yes.
I think all Nets fans are hoping that they are going to. That's who knows? We'll see though, right? Amazing. Cool. Well, Dan, awesome. It was so good to catch up with you. I don't want to keep you forever. I could probably talk forever about this type of content and all of the above around this, but what else is on your mind? One question I had for you, and this is so randomly off topic, but how are you feeling about, how the states are coming along and the legalization of sports betting and things like that? That's just a topic I like to talk to people about. And, we kind of had a huge 2019 where all these states were kind of moving quickly, and then it kind of stopped. And now it's really picking back up with some momentum again. What are you hearing? What are you seeing about legalization in the United States of sports betting? Are you still happy with the progress?
Yeah, I mean, I can't keep up with it on the affiliate side, right?
Yeah.
Like one of our mechanisms for revenue is on the affiliate front. And they're going to continue to push. They're going to continue to open it up. So what did we see last month? Something just over $900 million was wagered in the state of New Jersey, right? Just under $1 billion.
Just, yep.
we're going to be coming out of a tough time. States need tax dollars. Sports betting is no longer taboo. Big media has taken care of that. It's part of the fan conversation. It's now a major revenue stream for everybody in sports, leagues, teams, and local and state governments. And so we're going to continue to see that push forward. And let's get to 40 states, right? Like let's get to 40 states. Just like keep saying it, because you never want somebody to. It's eventually going to determine where games are played.
Yeah.
Right. Like 100%. And the incremental revenue, especially for small businesses, that comes along with large games, call it Super Bowl, call it national championship, call it March Madness, whatever it might be, golf tournaments. You don't want to not get access to those dollars because you don't allow online sports betting.
Yeah. And even more importantly, with this pandemic, hopefully the states, let's get to 40 states, but hopefully they all are seeing the importance of allowing mobile betting, because, some of them still have not been allowing that. And I think it's just a no-brainer in my mind. And it really frustrates me to see that decision made in some states. And hopefully with the pandemic, that's one good thing that comes out of it, is they're like, well, we have to have a mobile presence, or, we can't really move forward. So let's get 40 states all on mobile as well.
Well, and I think that's right. And I think that's just like, I look at that as politics. I feel like if somebody needs to get it over the line, they'll get it over the line. And then eventually they'll say, look, we're getting $1, we could be getting 10.
Yeah.
And then it goes to online, because even if you're standing outside of the sports book, right, with the exception of a Barstool or some of these like really fun, really brand centric books, you're still going to place that mobile bet. You might even place it while you're sitting inside of the book buying beers, right? Yep. The books need it too. The operators need it as well, for loyalty and for all of the things that are going to make them successful. It can't be standalone. It can't be physical.
Absolutely. All right, Dan. Well, any last words for the audience? How can they get a hold of you if they want to, or what should they be looking at? How can they, there could be some publishers out there. I bet there's quite a few listening to this show. What if they were interested in working with you guys? What's the best avenue to kind of get going with you guys?
Yeah, email me is honestly the best way. Just shoot me an email at dan@playpickup.com. Send us a note. We'll get you set up really quickly. It takes 5 minutes.
Nice.
And then let's work together. I mean, let's build something for this community, because this community can thrive in the future of digital content in sports.
All right. Well, check your email inbox right after this, because I'm going to be sending you one, because I'm excited to get going and publishing on a bunch of our sites that we have going on. And man, I just I really respect what you're doing for the community. I love following your some of your stuff on LinkedIn and things out there. So from me, I just wanted to say thank you for everything you do to move this industry forward, because without people like yourself, it's not as fun of a place to be. So I really appreciate what you do for the industry.
And right back at you. I mean, you continue to bring these storylines and these people and the progress to the world in bite-size ways, and that's what it's all about, man. You're awesome. So
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. All right, Dan. Well, happy holidays. I appreciate you being here. Take care. Any last words before we could let you go?
Happy holidays to you as well. Stay safe, and let's do some amazing things in the new year.
Amazing. All right. That was Dan Healy, co-founder, CEO of PickUp. Appreciate Dan being here. Appreciate all you guys listening, as always. If you don't hear from me again before the holidays, I'm going to take a little time. I'm heading down to the Florida Keys for a few hours or a few days, I guess, and going to spend some time down there. Never been there, so I'll be out there. I hope you all have a great holiday. If you need anything from me, you know how to get a hold of me. Need anything from Dan, the links will be in the show notes. We appreciate all of the listeners. Take care. Stay safe. Have a great holidays. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.